Welcome everybody to this session. I hope you've had good discussions already in the first day, and I think this is a very important one. So I look forward to a very frank and open discussion based on the research that has been done. Um, my name is Paul van der Logt, and I'm head of the Food and Nutrition Security team. And before this, I was in the climate finance team. And I went out to the food people and I said, pay attention to climate and indicate like which investments are relevant in relation to climate adaptation. And I've seen that evolve. I think going from, well, we're aiming at more productivity. So when there's more productivity, there's less use of land, there's less use of water. So we're doing fine for the climate. To now a strategy that also relates to data availability of know-how on weather patterns and increased insecurity, adaptive practices, which often are very low end. It doesn't all have to be sort of highly sophisticated seeds, but it can be as simple as planning of planting seasons, etc. But also the insurance side and the importance of looking at the risks that are now there. I think one of the things that struck me is I had a discussion yesterday with somebody from the World Bank who said food security is where climate was 15 years ago. Both in like looking at it from a system perspective and from a political point of view and from finance. And I tend to agree. I think like if I look at the way we talked about renewable energy 10 years ago, I don't know, the Dutch people among us probably remember our prime minister in an election debate referring to windmills, saying they only turn because there's subsidies, to the current position of the Netherlands, saying that both ourselves and the rest of Europe should be much more ambitious, and windmills are cost efficient and better alternatives for fossil fuels. And in the question about like the search for paradoxes, I see the same sort of direction of thought. Like there is no paradox between climate smart operations and a sustainable income. I mean, climate, like adapting to climate is a necessity. So there's no paradox in the private sector development and adapting to climate. So I'm really curious, like what came out of the research, because I think that's sort of asking the question is moving the debate in the wrong direction. I think there should not be commercial activities and there cannot be commercial activities when farmers are cannot sort of count on their harvests, and when markets rely on production that is not sustainable. So I'm really curious where that debate will lead, and I hope that it will lead to the conclusion that indeed we can and we should sort of reframe our mind around agriculture, but not only agriculture, but also diets, about markets, about access to markets, about international markets, or the whole food system discussion, and say we can only feed the world if we now start from what resources are available and go from there to what healthy and nutritious diets we need to provide for our populations. So this is really on right in the middle of my field of interest. So I'm really looking forward to the discussion. And I hope it's also going to be helpful in the year ahead with a lot of political debate on how we should move forward between now and 2030 or now in 2050 in the the food system discussion and the food system summit in September. So thank you very much for joining, and I'm looking forward to the discussion, and I'll talk to you again at the end of this session. Thank you.